This is a video on the Jawz of Mork Gloomspite Gitz Squig army update in the White Dwarf. Hello, this is 60 Goblins and one brush with some great news for every Gloomspite Gitz fans, for the Squig fans, Squigalanche fans. In the latest White Dwarf magazine, there has been a great update for all Squig fans. And we are great Squig fans. We have all the models. It's great. It's wonderful. I love Squigs. Okay. So there is a Jawz of Mork subfaction for the Gloomspite Gitz. You can play now a whole Squig army with amazing benefits. In the Jawz of Mork allegiance abilities, the allegiance ability is Running Riot, which means you can reroll the roll that determines the move characteristic of friendly Squig units. So all the Squig units can reroll their move, which is great, especially those who have 2d6 or 3d6 move. That can be really bad. You can roll a 2, 3, or 4, which is nothing compared to a 12 or an 18. So you can reroll. That's great. It's a ability, so it's for free. No command points. Then the command ability, for which you do need command points, is also really great. It's called Get Some Loon Shrine Down 'em. You can use this command ability at the start of any phase. If you do so, pick one friendly Jawz of Mork Mangler Squig model. Until the end of that phase, use the top row of that model's damage table, regardless of how many wounds it has suffered. That's also great, because once the Mangler Squigs get bracketed, because they lose wounds, they get weaker, much weaker. Unfortunately, that doesn't count for Colossal Squig as well, but you could make it a house rule, because it's Colossal Squig also gets horribly weak when it gets damaged. But here it's only says for Mangler Squigs, but still you can pick one Mangler Squigs model and then use the top row of the damage table, which means it is not bracketed at all. Wonderful. Then the command trait of the general. Envoy of the Overbounder. You can reroll failed battle shock tests for friendly Jawz of Mork units wholly within 12 inches of this general. So Squigs, they have a notoriously bad bravery. But with this, they're immune to battle shock. But with this, you can reroll failed battle shock tests for friendly units next to the general. Yeah, first time I read this, I thought they were immune or could use the bravery of the general, but that's not the case. It can just reroll it. Not so great. Not so great if you have only bravery 3, 4, or 5. Better than nothing. Okay, that needs to be a little bit improved, I think. Then the artefact. Jawz of Mork hero can receive an artifact, respectively must have this artifact. The Siari Screamer Squig. So he has a Squig with him, and at the start of the combat phase you can pick one enemy hero within 3 inches of the bearer. If you do so until your next hero phase, add 1 to the hit rolls for attacks made with melee weapons by the bearer that target that hero. So what happens is that this Squig, this Siari Screamer Squig, when the hero takes it out of his pocket, it starts screaming because it doesn't like the light, and thus he's annoying the hell out of the enemy hero, who then gets a penalty of -1 to hit. It's really funny and useful. Okay, so everything of these allegiance abilities is great except the command trait could be better, but the ability is great, the command ability is great, and the artifact is great, which is not often the case. Then Warscroll update, Bad Moon Shrine. This is also really great. If you use the Loon Shrine in a Gloomspite Gitz army, it's mostly beneficial for shooters and stabbers. But if you use the Jawz of Mork Allegiance subfaction, then the Loon Shrine also applies to the Squigalanche. Swarm of Lair Lurkers. If your general has the Squig keyword, after you set up this terrain feature, you can replace its MoonClan Lair's ability with. At the end of each of your turns, you can pick one friendly Squig herd, Squig hoppers, or grot bounders unit that has been destroyed. If you do so, roll a dice on a 4+, a new replacement unit with half of the models from this unit that was destroyed is added to your army. So, it means a Squig herd, Squig hoppers, or grot bounders, if it is destroyed, you can set up a unit that is half as big next to the Loon Shrine on a 4+, which previously was only possible for shooters and stabbers. So this is great, especially if you have a large unit, Squig herd for example. And then we have the two Warscroll battalions. One of them was already leaked, but we have two, the Moonjumper Stampede and the Moonbiter Squigalanche. The Moonjumper Stampede consists of Squig hoppers or grot bounders and a Mangler Squig. And the ability is crushing gobs. Add 1 to damage characteristic of fang-filled gob, massive fang-filled gob, and huge fang-filled gobs weapons used by units from this battalion if they made a charge move in the same turn. So unfortunately it's only after a successful charge. But +1 to damage is great, especially for Squig hoppers and grot bounders. +1 damage for the fangs. The mouth biting attack. That was the Moonjumper Stampede, and then the Moonbiter Squigalanche consists of a Loon Boss on Mangler or Cave Squig, then more Loon Bosses, a Moonjumper Stampede, Mangler Squigs, and Squig herds. So the Moonjumper Stampede is 140, and the Moonbiter Squigalanche is 90 points. But since you need to include a Moonjumper in the Moonbiter, together they're 250 points, which is a lot. 250 points is a lot. It's probably not worth it. But let's have a look. The ability is Overbounding Lunatics. After armies have been set up, but before the first battle round begins, up to D3 units from this battalion can move up to 6 inches. If both players can move units after armies have been set up, the players must roll off and the winner chooses who moves their units first. Yeah, I don't really like it actually. If it would have been a Warscroll battalion by itself for 90 points, okay, but if you have to combine it with the other one, not sure. Because D3 units, why not up to 3 units? Why D3? D3, it's with the usual luck of Gloomspite Gitz, you roll a 1 and then you can move 1 unit 6 inches forward. 3 units, okay, that would be something. But D3, and you can only use it one time. It's not something, not an ability that you can use again and again and again. You can use it only once before the first battle round. So, to summarize, I'm really excited about the whole idea of a Squig subfactions. Jawz of Mork also sounds really cool, because Troggoths and Squigs, they're my favorite parts of the Gloomspite Gitz army, and the more I play it, the more I like it. Then of the allegiance abilities, I like the ability Running Riot, where you can re-roll move rolls for everyone. Then the command ability, where you can buff the Mangler Squig, and the artifact of power with the Screamer Squig. Also the update on the Loon Shrine is great, and the Moonjumper Stampede is great. What I do not like so much is the envy of the Overbounder command trait. Reroll battle shock tests is for a unit that has a low bravery situational. Probably not so useful. Maybe it's useful. And the Moonbiter Squigalanche, it should have been a Warscroll battalion by itself. On the other hand, you can just add the 90 points and then you can move D3 units. I would just change it as a house rule to 3 units instead of D3 units. You don't need to roll for everything. But otherwise, the Tome Celestial, as it's called, is great, and the story also is great. The Chronicles of Carnage with the Overbounder, yeah, the loon boss is called the Overbounder. That's the great loon boss that gathered all these Squigs together. A scourge of Squigs who are jumping the moon. That's really great. And the story is also really nicely written. If you ever get your hands on one of those White Dwarfs, issue 455, you should read it. So,
Squigs!
I like it. What do you think? Did you try it out already? Do you want to try it out? Are you a Squig lover? Do you want to have Squig as pets in your basement that scream when light hits them? Tell me in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And see you very soon.